Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another video, and in this one we're going to be talking about some Skylanders news. That's right, I'm sure that's exactly what you expected to hear from me this year in July of 2023 is Skylander news, but unironically, it's actually been a pretty busy week or two in the Skylander community. There's been a lot going on that people are getting riled up over, and I figured it was worth making a video on because I've been itching to make a video and I just want to put something out. I haven't uploaded in a few months, as is the course for, these days, but when I have an idea or when something comes along as good as this, I can't help but jump on it and start talking about it. And also, you know me, I love being not negative, I love being realistic, and people think I'm negative, so I want to break some hearts today in the Skylanders community. So if you don't want your heart broken, click off the video, but if you want real talk, stick around. So the reason there's so much to talk about today is because there's actually been like 3 or 4 different events that have happened over the course of the past week and a half that if they were on their own, they wouldn't be worth discussing at all. But because they all happened simultaneously, it's kind of funny and gives us kind of an interesting couple of topics to talk about. So the first one that we'll talk about is the least interesting, in my opinion. It's the least interesting in my opinion because it's been known about for so long. Activision finally got purchased by Microsoft, or I don't think they purchased them yet, but they got approved by the FTC to purchase them. So Microsoft is going to own Activision and everything, Call of Duty. It's going to own Toys for Bob. It's going to own Vicarious Visions. It's going to own all those subsidiary companies. It's going to own Activision, and everyone's happy about that. Everyone's celebrating about that. All the people that are angry and mad at Disney for buying up 20th Century Fox and Marvel Studios and Lucasfilm and becoming a evil corporate empire buying up everything in the movie world, Microsoft has become the gaming equivalent of, but that's celebrated for some reason. So anyway, I digress about that. But the purchase was approved by the FTC, so it's going to happen. Activision is going to be owned by Microsoft, and what does that mean for Skylanders? Absolutely nothing. But the community, for the past year and a half since this purchase was even rumored to be happening, and then when the purchase was first announced last year, all people have been talking about is, in the community, is they're going to revive Skylanders. They're going to bring back Skylanders. This is the saving grace that we needed. They're going to bring them back. And I mean, I guess it's possible, but the short answer is that Microsoft has very little, if not no say in bringing back Skylanders. Yes, they own Activision, but they don't hold their hand through everything and tell them what games to make. Activision still decides what games they want to make. PlayStation, for example, they have all these different guys. They have Santa Monica, they have Naughty Dog. We'll take Naughty Dog because that's who I'm familiar with. PlayStation doesn't tell Naughty Dog to go make a new Last of Us game because, the show's doing great, go make a new game. Naughty Dog decides, hey, we want to make a new Last of Us game. They tell PlayStation that. PlayStation's like, okay, we will make it a PlayStation exclusive. That's all that PlayStation does, or Sony, I guess. For Naughty Dog, that's all that Microsoft does for their current owners, or their current companies that they own, and that's all they're going to do for Activision. They're going to do all the things that typical parent companies do, but they're not going to tell them to make a new Skylanders game. So the only realistic thing that could potentially come out of this is maybe the original few games would come out on the Game Pass, because that Microsoft does control. They put the games on the Game Pass, but even that I don't think would happen, because first of all, you need all these additional components. You need the portal, you need the figures, they need to adapt it for all that, and they need to, and I just don't think that's worth putting into a Game Pass where things are supposed to be accessible for everyone, regardless of, past exposure to the games and whatnot. It's supposed to be like an arcade, a catalog. I could see it happening, but also the games are 10 years old at this point. It's going to be pretty hard to license them at all these days, but I mean, anything's possible. So I could see it coming out on the Game Pass, very small chance, But other than that, Microsoft buying Activision does nothing for Skylanders. All that Microsoft cares about is Call of Duty. That's all they care about. That's all Toys for Bob and Vicarious Visions work on nowadays is Warzone. That's what Activision has them focusing full time on. So they have no time for, or they're doing, Vicarious Visions does Crash games or whatever, but that's all they're focusing on, and that's all they will focus on. It's not going to change that. That's topic number one. I already am rambling pretty long. I'm gonna try and trim this down. That was the least interesting topic. Also, topic number two. I'm gonna jump ahead to what you see in the background, which is Skylanders Universe, and it's making a return supposedly. Now, if you're like me, when you heard about this, you probably were asking yourself, "What is Skylanders Universe?" The Skylander dude told me about this. I had no idea this game existed. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was, I've seen that logo on a book cover before, and that was about it. I never knew that it was a game. It was a web-based RPG multiplayer game when Spyro's Adventure came out. And the code cards in the Spyro's Adventure figure packs, the black ones with the barcode and the number or whatever, they were used to put your figures into this game, and then you could play as Trigger Happy or Cinder or Stump Smash or whatever in this RPG game. It wasn't even developed by Activision or Toys for Bob. It was developed by, I think they're called Freema Studios, and I looked them up. They're a Canadian-based studio. They're very small, only about, it said like 200 employees, and they don't do much. They claim to have helped Epic Games bring Fortnite to mobile, but I don't know how accurate that is because I couldn't find a trace of that anywhere else. But their filmography or their gameography, I guess, whatever, they've done every now and then, every couple of years, a new project or whatever, but they're not a big studio. Anyway, they made this game. It got shut down before Swap Force came out in 2013, and I never heard about it, but apparently it was a lot of fun, and a lot of people back then used to play it. And there's this guy on Reddit or Discord or wherever, his name's Treerex, I think, or something. I'll put it right there. That's his name, and he's claiming that he's in talking with a developer of the game who has the files of the game. They have the game files, and they want to release the game files to the community if the community shows enough interest in getting these game files. Basically, the guy's on Reddit and he's like, upvote this, get this to 1 million upvotes, and we're gonna get the game files, and they're gonna turn it over, and we're gonna be able to play Skylanders Universe finally after all these years. To me, that just sounds like, I don't know if you guys have ever been on Twitter, or if you're afraid of Elon Musk or whatever, but if you've been on Twitter ever, you've probably seen the tweets where it's like someone DMs a famous creator, a famous person or a brand or whatever, and they're like, there's someone they DM Mr. Beast, and they're like, Mr. Beast, how many likes for me to get $1 million in your next video? And then Mr. Beast is like, 400,000 likes and I'll buy you a super yacht. And then they screenshot that and post it, and they're like, get me to 400,000 likes so Mr. Beast can buy me a super yacht. And it's just completely fake and impression farming. I think this guy's impression farming on Reddit, but anyway, it's all fishy, it's all hazy, whatever. If this random developer who worked on Skylanders Universe, who worked at Freema Studios 10 years ago, has these files still and wants to give them to someone in the community, that's fine. If you believe that, it could happen. We're gonna get the files and we're going to get to look at them. But people think we're going to get to play the game again. That's not true at all. We're not going to be able to play the game again. That would mean someone who, in the community, would have to, out of their pocket, fund the necessary servers to support a 24/7 game. I mean, unless you don't want to have it 24/7, but Skylanders fans are around the globe, kind of have to have 24/7 server support. It's going to be ridiculously expensive. So unless there's some angel investor coming down from the heavens, from the Skylands, if you will, we're not going to have someone foot the bill for these servers, which are going to need, they're going to need to be some pretty darn good servers if you're going to get a few thousand people playing, even if they ran ads on every inch of the screen. they wouldn't make enough money back in enough time. So anyway, that's another thing that's going on. That's topic number 2. Super uninteresting. Probably less interesting than the Microsoft one. But topic number 3 is insane. It's crazy, and I cannot believe it. I hate to be the bearer of bad news once again, but this is the worst news. The Skylander boy and girl have deleted all of their videos. All but like 8. I think they left 8 videos up, but they've privated the rest of their videos. And I'll start by saying people have been questioning what this means. Why would they delete them? Maybe the kids are, embarrassed of having that Skylander content out there still. And I thought that would be the case. Other people were like, maybe Chase got a girlfriend and she's making fun of him now, so they got rid of all the videos with Chase in it. I mean, it's all plausible. So it all makes sense, in my opinion. However, they tweeted on the FunnelVision or FGTV Twitter account yesterday. They were having revenue issues. They were having ad revenue issues with their company, whatever third party does their ad revenue or whatever. I didn't read into it too much, but basically what it sounds like is that this third party system that they used on Skylander Boy and Girl and also on Don't Much Fun, which is the Chase's Corner channel, both of which haven't been uploaded to in years. So the 2 unactive channels using the same system for their ad revenue apparently were having some issues, and they were withholding the funds for them for the past 2 or so months. So I think, at least makes sense to me, that Skylander Dad would have privated all of the videos to stop the ad revenue from going to this company until that's resolved, and then I'm sure he will unprivate them. I'm sure they're privated, they're not deleted, they're not gone, but nobody can see them except for the owner of the channel, of course. So this was cause for concern for some people, but for most people it was cause for celebration, which is the most absurd thing I've ever heard. Now, I may not be a huge member of the Skylander community, but I'm no idiot, and I know that everyone, this new wave, this new generation of SkyTubers and their fans hate Skylander Boy and Girl. They despise Skylander Boy and Girl for whatever reason, not even acknowledging that they're standing on the shoulders of the community that they built. If you're old enough to remember 2012, 2013, when Skylander Boy and Girl really took off on YouTube, they were the first Skylanders YouTubers, also known as SkyTubers. They were the first ones. They were the OGs. Guys like CoinOp TV, P. Diddy started around then, right? I mean, there's Asian Guy Gamer. They all started around that time, but Skylander Boy and Girl are the first Skylander, centered YouTube channel. I mean, their name is branded after this game, right? They're the first ones to do it. And I genuinely don't think that this community gets to where it is if it weren't for the Skylander Boy and Girl existing and doing what they did, dominating the scene for that 6-year run when the games were coming out. It drove so many more kids to buying these games, to buying these figures, to watching all of these other YouTubers. It opened me up. I first started watching Skylander Boy and Girl, and I'll be honest, I was a little ahead. I was a little too old for their demographic, but I still watched them because they were entertaining. I thought they were entertaining at the time. I was a kid. I was, 11, 12 years old. Nowadays, yes, their content's very cringe, right? You go back, you look, it's super cringe. I think the music videos are still pretty fire. But the content itself, right? The videos, the skits, some of it, it's too much, right? It's over exaggerated for sure. Absolutely. So I think people accuse him of being fake. People accuse Skylander Dad of being W Drums a couple years ago called him a narcissist, went into all this stuff. His personal beef with him, that's a separate thing. But people these days just randomly accuse him of abusing his kids, of making his kids film these videos for him, and the kids are super against it. They're super hurt. Making this random accusation. Now, it does make a little bit of sense, I'll be honest, but that they had a child, Sean, because their other kids were getting too old to be interesting on their YouTube channels. That's an unfounded claim. You can't just say that and then it's the truth. There's no evidence. No one will ever know if that's the case. I can see it being the case, and look, yeah, that's a little messed up, but I'm sure once they had him, they were like, oh, he's cool. Well, he can stick around. But these unfounded accusations, these random claims with no merit to them whatsoever, and people believe them, and because people high up say them. And I'm gonna call out someone right now, and he knows who he is. Crash the Skylands. He tweeted about it last night, and then he backtracked a couple of times today. And this isn't directed directly at him. He's a good friend of mine. We go back several years, and I, like I just said, I think I said at the beginning of this video, I watch most of his videos these days. I think he's a cool dude, but I think you're wrong about this, and I know you have a personal beef with them, and that's a separate thing, with Skylander Dad, and that's a separate thing. Now, this is a little bit of a flex, but it's true, and it does have some relevance to the story. I actually met Skylander Dad. I met Skylander Dad, I met Mike, I met Lex, I don't think Chase was there, I think it was Sean. I didn't get to talk to Sean, but I talked to the rest of them, and they seemed really chill. They seemed really happy. I'll tell you what, the kids were enjoying VIP seats with all kinds of famous people at a ringside boxing event, the Jake Paul fight a couple of years ago, and there were so many famous people there. They were having free food, they were having free drinks, they were having the time of their lives. And it would not have happened if Skylander Dad didn't put them in these videos from the beginning. This man made his kids millionaires by the time they were teenagers. Every single child's college tuition is paid for, and they're not even in college yet. This guy, yes, maybe it was a little messed up, but their lives are going to be amazing. They've had it so ridiculously easy. They're internet celebrities. It's the best thing you could possibly be. And to claim that makes Skylander Dad an awful parent, an awful person, because he filmed his kids enjoying a video game and made their childhoods probably some of the craziest and best ones that you could have. He spoiled them to death. His whole family he spoiled to death. That doesn't make him a bad person. That makes him an insane, incredible businessman and a heck of a dad. Really good dad. But take the personal beef out of it, and the fact that the Skylander boy and girl pretty much created this path for everyone who makes Skylander videos today, that's a sign I've been talking for too long. Everyone who makes Skylander videos today does it because Skylander boy and girl did it first. It's just the God's honest truth. I don't think the game, I definitely don't think the community would be as nearly as big as it was and as it still is if it were not for the impact that they had on this community, and that is a fact. Now, I definitely rambled on for way too long there, but I'm passionate about this, man. It's people are dissing this family for no reason. Look, yes, they were cringe. We can accept that, but they did so much for this game, for this franchise, for this community. They kept it alive, and I think that's worth acknowledging, and I think it's not worth celebrating when they remove a huge archive of our entire childhoods, most people's childhoods. You know, whether you like it or not. It's like, I'm gonna relate it to this, but it's not true. It's like when the Library of Alexandria burned down, right? You think people who didn't like books were like, let's go! They lost thousands of years worth of information, of, stories, of everything, of human history. Now, this doesn't mean anything to anybody outside of like a few hundred people, right? But it's our little pocket of the internet, and that's 6 or 7 years worth of content that's just gone. Like I said, it's private. I think it'll come back after they solve this ad revenue thing, but for now, it's gone, and we have no proof. We have no way of going back and revisiting those years. We don't. Even if you're not a fan, you have to admit that it's pretty sad. So anyway, that's all I got for you. I'm so sorry. I've been recording for a half an hour. I hope I can trim this down a lot shorter than that, but hopefully y'all enjoyed it. If you have a rating, would be super duper very much appreciated. Other than that, if you made it through this video, comment something completely out of pocket. If not, you're not even hearing this, so don't comment anything. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys very, very soon. I have a couple of videos in the works, so stick around. And yeah, Skylanders, man. What a world.